So the money that I paid for my home, thinking I had a yard, was completely misrepresented to me, was never disclosed to me. I spent lots of money landscaping, lots of money to improve my backyard, only to find out the money that I put in was towards property that isn't even mine. I think Mr. Jones needs to be held accountable for his deception that he's done not only to me, but to the other homeowners in the subdivision. I'm not the only one that didn't know that their backyard was not their backyard. I was probably one of the last people, I actually was the last person to purchase in phase 2. Everybody had fenced in their lots, everybody had landscaped them, maintained them, and what was deemed to be common area is not even common area. There's no way it can be put back to being common area at this point because people have fenced all their lots in. So the easiest thing and the best thing to resolve this situation once and for all, so people can put into their family trust, put into their wills, know what their property lines are, and resolve their estates for, it's primarily a senior-only community. So this is very, very important to these people, that this gets resolved once and for all. It has to be resolved. Is to vacate this PRUD, let us be responsible for our own neighborhood. We will maintain the 2 pieces of land that we're planning on keeping as park area and just be done with it once and for all. It needs to be resolved. It cannot keep hanging in the wings. This has been going on for a long time and it needs to get done. If anybody has any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Okay, thank you. I'm Cal Manson. I live at 1957 North, 775 East, of course, and it's been many years since I've been to a council meeting. The last time I was here was when Greg proposed that they abandon the common area going through phase 3. So it's been a few years. The one reason I'm coming up here is because if you look in my backyard, and I know that Wade has been there, and I can't read his name now, and I met him yesterday.
Brent.
Anyway, they know in my backyard there are 3 trees back there that are in quote the common area. Initially, the developer was going to rent me the land for $1 a year for how many years? So it turned out that was illegal. He couldn't do that. So, but anyway, I expanded my backyard to include some of that common area so I could have those trees back there so I get western shade in the evening. So I would like to see the PRUD indeed be rescinded. I would like to see the land turned over to the homeowners in the area. And I think we would all benefit from it. Somebody brought up the issue about snow removal and that it is a city street, so when all the cars have to be out so the snowplows can come through in the wintertime. And we get, as everybody else here gets the garbage disposal once a week and recyclable twice a week, or every other week rather. So anyway, I hope the council will approve of this proposal that we abandon the PRUD designation. And I think we would all benefit from it. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor and City Council, I'm Joel Grassmeyer, 2220 Improvement Drive. And I'm the chair of the North Ogden Parks and Trails Committee. And this is a committee consisting of North Ogden citizens who volunteer their time to plan and build park and trail facilities within the city. One of our responsibilities is to make sure that the city adheres to the general plan with regards to parks and trails. And this is what brings me here tonight. And I regret I wasn't able to be involved earlier in the process because the Parks and Trails Committee only found out about this issue when we saw the announcement of the agenda in Sunday's paper. And my sympathies to the homeowners. I've read the history of this over the last couple of days, and it sounds like quite an ordeal. And let me start off by saying that the Parks and Trails Committee is not opposed to eliminating the easements that are already fenced in behind the existing homes in phases 1 and 2 of Quail. And I have a map here that shows the different areas that we're referring to. So the areas shown in green there are the areas that we're totally okay with being turned over to the homeowners that have already fenced in those areas. However, the easement on the northern boundary of Phase 3 and the northern half of Lot 64, the area that's the wetlands between Coldwater Creek and the other creek that drains the spring from the field to the east, those are on a trail corridor that is part of the Cherry Way Loop. And those are shown by the red areas on the map there. And the Cherry Way Loop, for those who don't know about it, is a 12-mile loop trail that will eventually connect most of the parks and schools within the city. About 5 miles of this trail are already in place, primarily between McGriff Park and the Equestrian Park. The Cherry Way Loop will eventually connect the Quail Pond subdivision with Orton Park to the west, North Ogden Park and the Senior Center to the north, along the canal that goes towards Smiths, and Oaklawn Park to the east. The trail corridor within Quail Ponds has been part of the North Ogden City General Plan since at least 1997, and possibly earlier than that. And our understanding is that the Quail Ponds was approved in several phases between 1998 and 2005, so this approval would have fallen under the general plan that was in place since 1997. The problem we see with eliminating all of the easements in Quail Ponds is that this would eliminate a key segment of the Cherry Way Loop, and we're also concerned that eliminating this trail corridor would set a bad precedent for the future of parks and trails in North Ogden. And we have had several issues, one as recent as 2 years ago, where we had a trail corridor on the general plan just east of Oaklawn Park, and the Trails Committee was never notified that this subdivision approval was taking place, and we lost that trail corridor, and that was a key part of our Cherry Way Loop. So now we've had to go back and redo our plans to try to accommodate that lost connection. So even though this is a little, maybe 100-yard segment, it's part of a much bigger loop. And as a final note, we would be happy to work with the homeowners, the developer, and the city on a workable solution. For example, we could build this segment of the Cherry Way Trail this fall, which would dramatically improve the appearance and use of the easement along the northern boundary of Phase 3. We already have access to a network of volunteers from the community, scouting groups, etc., that are available to do this work, and they've been doing quite a bit of trail work in Barker Park and Lakeview Park this spring. And that's all I have. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Evening.
Yes, sir.
My name's Ken McCormick. I live at 2073 North, 775 East in Quail Ponds. I don't know what he's talking about as far as trails going through our common areas. That property is owned by the homeowners association, not by the city.
That's true.
The part he's referring to, we're well aware of it. That's the wetland that comes down at the back of the lots that are on the far north side of our subdivision. And that property will not be a part of our commons area, or whatever you want to call our park area. And where it does come down, where the canal opens up and feeds underneath, we're more than willing to let him walk through there. That's the commons area, and all that will do is enhance it. So just for your peace of mind, that isn't going to be a problem. It's very resolvable, and we're happy to work with him. Thank you.
Thank you, Joan. I think it should be established that those common areas are private. Were privately owned. They were part of the PRUD, but they were not public easements. They were common area for the use of the residents of the PRUD. However, what we're looking at tonight is vacating this PRUD, and then I think what Mr. Grassmeyer is maybe suggesting is that as we go forward, we would like the opportunity, and the city would like the opportunity to maybe look at reestablishing this trail corridor so we don't lose that. So I hope that the homeowners would be amenable to working with us in that respect. But that's apart from what we're doing tonight.